Hello, this is Alexandra Guadano. I'm here today with Amy Hanlon-Rodemich, who is the Director of Global HR Shared Services at VMware. Thank you for joining us today, Amy.
Thank you for having me.
Amy's here to talk with us about how VMware has evolved its shared services model. But before we jump into that, can you give us some background on yourself?
Sure. I spent the bulk of my career as an HR business partner and joined VMware in 2004 and held a couple of business partner positions there. Did an expatriate assignment overseas in the UK. Then I ran the global HR operations team before finally founding HR Shared Services with my boss, Jonathan Schoonmaker.
Very nice. So Amy, I understand you've had a ton of overnight success with your Shared Services Center. Can you talk about some of the things that you feel that you've truly executed well and planned well?
Well, I think we've had some overnight successes with some areas and others are still evolving. The pieces that I think we've done really well are on the operations and the metrics side. Operations is a team that we absorbed from Palo Alto. We moved it into Austin, Texas, and then we launched it in Europe and Asia. And that's gone very well. We've put some process improvement in place, we've launched some new tools, and it's going incredibly well. On the metrics side, that was a little bit of an experiment where the business partners were asking for some help. They could not really articulate exactly what they needed. They just knew they needed help with analytics and some general support. So we hired that team, and now a year later, it's incredibly successful, and they're providing so much more than just reporting. They're providing analytics and trending and that sort of thing. It's really going very well.
Great to hear. So now, what are some of the lessons that you've learned throughout this process and some of the key things that you might have done differently?
Probably the biggest lessons learned I have are on the HR source side. So that's our call center, which just launched about a month and a half ago. And it's one of those things I feel that we have done the best that we could with the resources that we have, but you could always do better. I would definitely have spent more time on testing and more time on tool analysis and just had a little bit more time in general for the overall project plan. We had a very short window. We launched in 4 months. So I think we definitely need a little bit more time.
Are you changing your recruiting strategy to accommodate any uncovered needs at this point for your Shared Services Center?
Yeah, the interesting thing is we hired the source reps, and we have a fantastic team of HR source reps that are doing a great job. But it was interesting, especially as someone like myself, I didn't have a background in this type of a call center before. So do you hire HR people? Do you hire call center people? Well, actually, the skill that's become most critical is critical thinking. So lesson learned, it would be ideal to have somebody who has HR call center experience, but they really, more than anything, need to have that critical thinking skill set, which is not something that is that easy to find.
Absolutely. So, Amy, though your Shared Services Center is still relatively young, has it demonstrated any value thus far?
Yeah, absolutely. So far, we're getting approximately 500 tickets a week. Those are 500 questions that aren't going to the business partners anymore. They have definitely expressed to us that they feel like it's helping them significantly. The feedback from our customers who are the employees has been very positive as well.
How would you direct another HR Shared Services professional who's trying to do what you've done with their own center?
I would tell them to pull way back and start at the 30,000-foot view and really consider how something like this will impact not only the business but also the HR department as well. It is a huge piece of HR transformation and change management. And a lot of people at the conference this week have been talking about that. Don't underestimate the change management impact, but it's really absolutely the case. The other piece is you really need to understand your corporate culture and the expectations of your customers. My customers expect everything right now, and if you have a 24-hour SLA, it's a lifetime. So something like that's not going to work. So we need a model that can respond much faster. And that impacts all types of things: technology, ticketing, hiring practices, documentation, and it's really important that you understand that carefully up front. I also would make sure to tell that person, hire a strong project manager, have them solely focused on project management, and really focus on vetting your technology, not only with your team, but with the IT team and anybody else it might impact. And then hire for critical thinking skills.
It's a great piece of advice. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Amy. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Likewise.
This is Alexandra Guadano, and thanks again for joining us. We will see you next time.